Hello POSimulator. I am Tyki 7125, and here I'm going to bring you guys a very good Wi-Fi UU battle against some guy by the name of FrozenMan, who I met on the ladder, and here I've got a battle where I'm using my Flygon, Clefable, Crobat, Suicune, Mew, and Hitmontop, and he's using a Hitmontop, a Zapdos, a Darmanitan, a Swampert, a Mew, and a Snorlax. So my team is basically U-turn all the things. I run Mew, Flygon, Crobat for U-turn. I tried to make things as little obvious as possible, because I'm not using a Raikou or a Rotom H for Volt Turn. Flygon is pretty standard U-turn though, so I guess it's kind of standard. I also have Clefable for Rocks and Heal Bell, and I also have Suicune just for like bulky defensive wall and late game sweep, and him on top is spinning away the rocks. So when I am doing my Volt Turn shenanigans, I can not take damage from switching. So his team actually looks a little bit more on the Stally variety. Hitmontop, Swampert, and Mew are generally more defensively oriented. Zapdos could also easily go defensive. Snorlax is a pretty big wall, especially. And Darmanitan just looks like the Scarfer out of the bunch just to make sure it just doesn't get dominated by really powerful pokes. So, let's get on with this. He decides to lead off with Swampert as I lead off my Mew, trying to fake him out, thinking it is the very common Stallbreaker Mew set. I trick him first turn, try to get the Scarf on the Swampert, because Scarf Swampert is not a happy Swampert. He goes for the Toxic, but Synchronize actually gives him the Toxic, so this Swampert is even less happy right now, because Toxic plus Scarf equals dead Swampert, pretty much. Can't do much, so I know I can just go into Fable here. But he goes into Mew here, and I'm like, okay, this is most likely the Stallbreaker Mew set, so it's going to taunt me, because Clefables always are very supporty, because their move pool is amazing. I go into Flygon here just to see how much a U-turn will do to this Mew. It does a little bit over a third. Not as much as I wanted it to, but oh well. I stupidly switched into my Crobat here, taking the Will-O-Wisp. Completely forgetting, though it's all good because I have Heal Bell on my Clefable, so I'll just be able to get rid of that burn and everyone will be happy. So I go for the U-turn here. It is Choice Banded, so it should do a good amount of damage. Swampert comes in, which is bulky, so only 11% for a non-stab move, but I know I'm able to get a free Heal Bell off with my Clefable now that the Swampert is in. So Heal Bell is priority over Stealth Rocks here right now, because Burn on Crobat is not a good thing because it's my Bander, and Band plus Burn pretty much equals Y, because Burn takes off 50% of your attack, and Band only adds 50%, so you're at an even less attack stat than usual. I can go for the Rocks here, as he goes for his Rocks, trying to damage my U-turners, as he switches to Mew, which pretty much stops my Clefable. He misses the Will-O-Wisp here, protecting my switch into Flygon, which I kinda knew he'd do, so I just went for the Seismic Toss. But here's a matchup you're gonna see a lot, Clefable versus Mew, Pink versus Pink, yes, I know. Because neither of us really want to switch out and take a move. I mean, Psychic from Mew, you never know what's coming, and you never know when the Taunt or Will-O-Wisp is coming. Most of my team does not want to take either. I best switch into this Mew. I really don't have one. My team is very Mew and Sableye weak. Thankfully he doesn't have a Sableye. But my best way to get rid of Mew really is to either Toxicate with Hitmontop, which I don't really have that many opportunities to do because Psychic is something that Hitmontop really doesn't want to stay in. And the other option is just trying to U-turn it to death, which doesn't always work because it has Roost or Soft Boiled. So, Taunt shuts down my Clefable. If Mew didn't get Taunt, my Clefable would have been able to just shit all over this Mew. Neither of us really want to switch out. I'm Seismic Tossing, he's Roosting. One of us is trying to stall PP out of each other. So he finally decides just to go into Hitmontop here, as I just Seismic Toss blindly, because I really don't know when he's going to switch. I know I'm not going to switch personally, because my Clefable stops his Mew, because I'm running max HP, max special defense, but Mew has the 404 HP, so we'll be able to take 4 Seismic Tosses before it dies. Here, I'm just going to go to Crobat here, because I quad resist any fighting type move that he might want to go for, but he predicts this very nicely and goes with a Rapid Spin, knowing that Clefable never wants to stay on Hitmontop. So, Crobat here, I really should go for the U-turn, predicting a switch, but I just go for the Brave Bird here, trying to see how much damage it's going to do to whatever comes in. Swampert comes in, and it's pretty much just gonna die now because Poison and Brave Bird doing a pretty big chunk to Swampert. Like, 58% to a Swampert is not something to laugh about, because Swampert is very bulky. He goes into Marniton now, baiting my switch, even though it is most likely faster than my Crobat because I'm not running Scarf. And I switch into Hitmontop here. And I really have no reason to switch out of this matchup. This matchup is never bad for Hitmontop, especially if you're running special defense EVs like I am. So I'm free to go for Toxic on the Zapdos. I'm thinking it's more bulky, and getting Toxic off in Zapdos is very good, because Roost will not cancel off the Toxic Poison racking up. And I can also just go for the Rapid Spin here, because he doesn't have a Spin Blocker, and HPS is just not doing anything to me. So, I get the crit on the Rapid Spin, really doesn't matter, it's Rapid Spin, I'm pretty sure it's 20-30 base power. So, I know he's going for the HP Ice here, predicting my Flygon to switch in, because Flygon is certainly a very good switch into Zapdos. Now he switches into Mew, I'm just trying to catch my Hitmontop off guard, because Psychic trumps over fighting, of course, but I just go into Clefable here, and then we have another Taunt, Psychic, Seismic Toss, Roost, whatever it's called, business, which, I admit, is not the funnest thing to watch, but it's part of how the game works. Like, there's always a bunch of stall wars in most games that carry walls, and eventually one of us is going to want to switch out, because one of us is going to run dry on PP. Seismic Toss, I'm pretty sure, has a pretty high PP count compared to Roost only having 16. But here, I know he isn't going to go for the Will-O-Wisp or the Psychic, so I know I'm free to go into Crobat, so I can get a U-turn off on this Mew. It doesn't even do 50% to the Mew, which is disappointing. That is Choice Banded, so he's running a very bulky Mew. So I go into Suicune here, baiting either like the Roost or the Taunt or the Will-O-Wisp, I really don't care. He goes for the Psychic here, trying to get rid of my Crobat. And here, I'm just going to go for Scalds, fishing for the burn. I know Synchronize is going to give my Suicune the burn, but I'd rather have the burn on the Mew, because I'm running Crocroon, which has Rest Talk, and I also have Clefable that can Heal Bell if I needed to. So Scald on the Mew, like, it's not going to do that much, I realize, because I'm not running any special attack EVs in my Suicune. The way it does its sweeping is by Calm Minding and then Rest Talking. But here I get the burn on the Mew, which is very good for me, because it's going to force him to go for Roosts even more, now that he has residual damage going on. And my Suicune really doesn't mind the burn, as I said before. It's not a physical attacker, so the attack drop doesn't matter, and I can just easily get rid of it. So, I'm just going to keep on going for Scalds, try to get as much damage on this Mew as possible, so I'll be forced to go for either a Taunt or Roost, so I can safely switch into a different Pokemon. Taunt wears off here, and he's also below 50%, so he's going to either go for Taunt or Roost. I'm not sure which one, so I just go into Clefable, because it can just take whatever this Mew wants to give to me. Yes, I know, it's boring to watch. Whatever. I can just keep on going for Seismic Tosses now, running the Roost out of PP, as the burn is going to make it have to Roost even more often, so he has less chances to Taunt and less chances to Psychic if he wants to keep his Mew at a healthy HP level. So here I am, Seismic Tossing, Roosting, Seismic Tossing, Roosting. He switches to Hitmontop relatively early, but I can't predict that, because he just switches off Mew at completely random times. It's not predictable at all. But I know I'm going to be forced to switch again, because nothing wants to take a fighting type move that is named Clefable. Here, I'm going to switch things up a little bit, because I know that he's going to predict me going to Crobat again, because that's what I did last time. So here I go into Hitmontop, just to get the Intimidate off on either the Hitmontop or whatever switches in. He chose to start Manitin. So I know Darmanitan does not appreciate having a -1 attack, so I know I'm free to go for the high jump kick on whatever comes in. He switches Hitmontop back in, getting the Intimidate on, which allows it to live the next high jump kick I give it. So Hitmontop is annoyingly still in, so I am going to go for the Toxic here, trying to make sure it dies. He gets the Toxic off on me too, but I don't feel worried because I can heal bell it off. So once I get the Toxic on, I feel like he's going to want to switch out into something. Probably his Mew, I'm predicting, because Mew's going to be able to take high jump kick, which is pretty obvious. And, I mean, he just goes for his own high jump kick, but I guess that was a good play, in my opinion, now that I think about it. I misplayed. So, I decided not to switch out of my Clefable for some reason, even though Mew and Suicune would both be perfectly fine taking a high jump kick. I guess I predicted him to overpredict there, but he didn't, and there goes my Heal Beller. And, my rocks are also no longer going to be there. I switch into Flygon. Now I go for the U-turn, just trying to get my momentum back up, as I just lost one of my bulkiest things on my team, and one of the main things I have to just annoy the Mew a little bit. So I U-turn out, and I go into Crobat because it's the next fastest thing, and I'm switching to Darmanitan, forcing me out. Going to Hitmontop here, I get the Intimidate off. The reason why I'm not going into the Suicune is because I feel like it's too obvious, honestly. I mean, Suicune is a perfect Darmanitan counter, as it doesn't get Wild Charge, and even so, that really wouldn't do too much. Even with, I'm pretty sure it gets a Sheer Force boost with that. So, here, predicting a second Flare Blitz just to get rid of me, I go for the Sucker Punch, but that doesn't work. So here I'm like, well, Hitmontop's pretty much dead now. Let's see if he decides to go for the Psychic here. I'm just trying to get rid of my Hitmontop before I can, like, I don't know, high jump kick it, because that's going to do a lot of damage. But no, he just roosts, and my Hitmontop's dead. So that is 2 out of my 3 walls down. So I'm having to rely more and more on my U-turning and Volt switching. And I go into Flygon here, baiting the Will-O-Wisp once again. Go for the U-turn, get good chunk off on the Mew, and then I switch into Suicune, getting the Will-O-Wisp prediction. And I predict correctly, as he just goes to the Will-O-Wisp, as Flygon never ever appreciates the Will-O-Wisp. So, Suicune versus Mew again, not nearly as annoying as Clefable versus Mew still, but Taunt is pretty obvious, so I'm just going to switch right back out into Crobat, because I know at this range of health I will be able to kill the Mew off with a U-turn. If he decides to switch out, it's fine because I'm U-turning, so I'll just be able to go into the appropriate Pokemon to take out the Pokemon he switches in. He decides to stay in with this Mew, which I personally think is a better play too, because this allows him to bring in a poke that will combat the Pokemon I bring in. I bring in Flygon here, and he's left only with Snorlax, Darmanitan, and Zapdos. Now here you're thinking, well, why don't you just go for the Stone Edge? I don't carry the Stone Edge at this point in time. This is before I ran Stone Edge. I ran Fire Punch before, which is stupid now that I think about it. But Zapdos is perfectly free to switch in now, and perfectly free to go for the Thunderbolt, because he knows I'm Scarfed because I outsped his Darmanitan. Switching Suicune here is Death Fodder because it won't be able to do anything to a Snorlax, as Snorlaxes are very specially bulky, and I feel like Suicune is the weakest link to my team. So here, I'm like, okay, the Zapdos is toxic, I will be able to stall it enough if I can just go for the appropriate moves. Go into Flygon here, so it can't go for the Thunderbolt, must go for the HP Ice, and I go for the Outrage here, thinking it will kill the Zapdos, but it doesn't! And it's also going to be able to live its toxic after leftovers, I believe, which is very annoying. Fucking Zapdos, why won't you die? And here you're also going to see it outspeeds my Mew and goes to the roost. So this Zapdos is just being a huge pain in the ass. If I had rocks, this would just be horrible because Crobat hates switching into rocks. Mew doesn't appreciate it. But I'm just going to Volt Switch out. Go for the U-turn and just let toxic damage do its thing, as I know Mew can take a Thunderbolt because base 100 special defense and all of that. Also base 100 HP too, that helps too. He goes for the Thunderbolt, and the Mew just takes it. Mew. And the Toxic's just going to be able to kill off the Zapdos now. So he's left with only Snorlax versus my Mew and my Crobat. I'm in a dilemma here. My only chance of winning now is if I can go for the Aura Sphere right now, get a good enough chunk on the Snorlax, that I will be able to kill it off with the Choice Band of Brave Bird from Crobat. So here, I do exactly that. It heals me off frustration, and I go into Crobat, I'm hoping I'll be able to kill the Snorlax off with the Choice Band of Brave Bird. Come on, Crobat, I know he can do this, but he doesn't. He lives at 8%, and I kill myself off with my recoil. Not getting the draw, but it's alright. That was an excellent battle, FrozenMan. Thank you for having that battle with me. Good game, yes, very good game. And yeah, I'm Tyki125. I hope you liked this narration. And if you liked me, hopefully someone will put my channel down in the description below. Subscribe to POSimulator, as we're all cool and stuff. So yes, thank you.